We're trying to start the show, sailor. What is it? Hold it? No, it's one of ours. Come, Santa, give us a shot. But it is not this commercial, Maca. No, it's BBC, Maca. Right, that's it.
This is the BBC. Hip, hip. Oh, what fun we're having. Later on this evening, I'll be going home. But first, we present a special tribute to the life and work of Spike Milligan, the well-known typing error. We begin in the year 1951, where a young, fresh-faced John Sargent, wearing ankle-length short trousers, is tuned to the BBC Home Service. Young John's ear has been glued to the wireless all night. His parents would often punish him in this form. But he's listening to Mr. Milligan's revolutionary new and highly esteemed Goon Show.
Here, Eccles, hold these 3 red sticks of dynamite.
Oh, wait. One of these isn't a stick of dynamite.
You sure about that, Eccles?
One of them was a stick of Blackpool rock. Of course I'm sure. Just a minute. Of course, I could be wrong, you know.
Like most kids in the 1950s, I didn't just want to listen to the Goon Show, I wanted to be in it. You fool, you crazy fool, you.
War! I must write my memoirs. The day war broke out, Winston said to me, "You've got to stop, bloody. We can't go on meeting like this, you know."
Rejoin the story in 1942, a critical year for Britain, with British generals slaving away at their autobiographies.
Let me get round this thing. No. I'm standing sideways. Where are you, Burke?
Now then, this is my plan of attack.
It looks like a nail.
No, it's attack.
Spike changed people's view of British humour. His sort of joke became a recognisable export brand. And who better to show it off than the Beatles? In New York, for the first time, they sounded positively goonish.
John thought of the name Beatles, and he'll tell you about it now. It means Beatles, doesn't it? You know, that's just a name. You know, like shoe.
Yeah, the shoe. The shoes. You see, we could have been called the Shoes for all you know.
When John Lennon was asked how the Beatles found America, he famously replied, "Turn left at Greenland." That crazy, traditional British sense of humour. Yes, it was a tradition going all the way back to the Goon Show. Inspired and largely written by Spike, it was amazingly successful for 9 years. Even Prince Charles was a fan.
Right, now what do you think of that trip?
I like it.
Well, I didn't like it either.
Just because you got bigger legs than I have? You think you can tell me what to do? Yeah.
Look, I will tell you one thing, and one thing only. Before we finish, I'm in charge.
It's all your fault.
Not my fault.
Yeah. I'll get my hand back on him if it's the last thing I do. Yes, I will.
Spike might have said that's a load of old monarchs, but for us tonight, Spike rules okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When you're feeling low down and you can't find romance, leap into a dustbin and dance. Oh, when your friends forsake you and you can't find romance, jump into a dustbin and dance.
And now Mr. Paul Merton will play Mr. Spike Milligan playing a newsreader in a Q sketch. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Merton.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming this evening. I was sitting at home earlier and I thought to myself, shall I wear something unusual tonight? And I thought, no, I'll just come as I am. Good evening. 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 So there we are, 37 good evenings where we used to have one. That shows you the level to which the English good evening, along with the pound, has fallen. Do you know it takes 17 English good evenings for one American good evening? And 33.5 English good evenings for one German Guten Abend. However, in Tunisia, you can still get 2 good evenings for one hello sailor. Okay.
In a little town where there's a fellow. He's the leader of the village choir and his voice is warm and mellow. He drives a fruit cart around the street and everybody knows it. He doesn't sing or rave about his fruit, he simply blows it. Sing it all day long. It's better than any song. Though it isn't very pretty, you've got to admit it's cute. So all together, let it go. It certainly comes to stay. Hear him say, hey, fruits in season plenty. There is apples, plums, and the old raspberries. Today.
The Goon Show is well known for its bizarre use of sound effects. Mr. John Sargent, who heard the Goon Show's sounds with his ears, will now tell us about them through his face.
When the Goons exploded onto the airwaves in 1951, sound effects on radio were limited to a few rattling teacups and hobnail boots on gravel. That must have really confused listeners to the coronation. A lot of Spike's sound effects were created live in front of the audience. And tonight, our studio managers are Miss Kathy Burke and Mr. Paul Merton. Have you ever been irritated by the sound of the bloke in the flat upstairs dropping his boots on the floor as he gets ready for bed? This is Spike's version. He may then decide to empty his trouser pockets. We don't have time for the other pocket. In the Goons, characters were always being examined by doctors. Patients were constantly rolling up their trouser legs. Being tested for loose teeth. And on one occasion, a dodgy doctor grabs a large shovel and invites the patient to place his head on an anvil for a free diagnosis.